Welcome to our ADHD Relationship Channel, your evidence-based guide to navigating love, friendship, and family life through the lens of ADHD.
Today, we're talking about the impact of ADHD on relationships.
And we're going to get into all of it. The neurology behind the common struggles, and most importantly, the actual strategies that can help you not just get by, but really truly thrive together.
Okay, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away with a statistic that can be, well, pretty jarring. The divorce rate for couples where ADHD is a factor, it's almost double the rate for the general population. But listen, that number, it's not your destiny. Not at all. Think of it as a wake-up call, a reason to really dig in and understand what's going on under the surface.
So to get that understanding, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by connecting the dots between ADHD symptoms and that day-to-day friction.
Yep. Then we'll zoom in on a really common but destructive dynamic that can pop up. After that, we're all about solutions, real, actionable strategies. And we'll wrap up by looking at the incredible strengths that ADHD can bring to a relationship. It's not all about the challenges.
All right, first things first. And honestly, if you take away only one thing today, let it be this. The struggles that show up in a relationship with ADHD, they are not about a lack of love. They're not a moral failing or a character flaw. It's neurology. It's just how the brain is wired.
And this is where things get so tricky, right? It's this huge gap between what's intended and how it actually feels to the other person. So, your partner with ADHD might forget an anniversary. The reason is neurology, a real challenge with working memory. But for you, it can feel like a punch to the gut. It feels like they're saying, you're just not that important to me. Or an impulsive comment. It wasn't meant to be mean, but ouch, it still hurt. Bridging that gap between the why and the ouch, that is everything.
Exactly. So it's all about connecting those feelings back to the brain science. Let's dive into some of the most common ways this stuff shows up in daily life.
Okay, let's talk about a big one that is so often misunderstood. It's called Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria, or RSD. And look, this is way more than just being sensitive or having your feelings hurt. We're talking about an extreme, almost physical pain that comes from thinking you've been rejected or criticized. The key word there is thinking. It doesn't even have to be real. And you can see how this creates this awful, vicious cycle, right? A partner asks something totally neutral, like, hey, did you get a chance to take out the trash? But for the person with RSD, their brain hears, you failed. Again, you're incompetent. So they get defensive, maybe snap back. And now you've got a real fight on your hands, which just makes that feeling of being rejected even stronger. And round we go.
Okay, here's another classic mix-up, especially at the beginning of a relationship. You meet someone with ADHD and bam, they are so into you. This intense, laser-focused attention, it feels incredible. And it's really easy to confuse it with something much more sinister, like love bombing.
Right, but the why behind it is completely different. Hyperfocus is just how the ADHD brain works when it's fascinated by something or someone. It's a genuine, deep interest. Love bombing, on the other hand, is a manipulation tactic. And here's the dead giveaway. When the hyperfocus fades, attention just kind of goes back to normal levels. When love bombing ends, attention is pulled away on purpose, like a punishment to make you feel insecure.
So when you have all these constant misinterpretations piling up, seeing distractibility as they don't care, or the end of hyperfocus as rejection, it can lead to a really, really destructive pattern. And we're talking about what's known as the parent-child dynamic. Now, this almost always starts from a good place. The non-ADHD partner just wants to help, so they start picking up the slack. They manage the calendar, they send the reminders. They basically become the household project manager. But what happens over time is that you stop being partners. You're not equals anymore. You've become a manager and an employee, or a parent and a child. And that is not a recipe for a healthy romantic relationship.
And let's be clear, this is a terrible place to be for both people. The parent partner is just burnt out. They're exhausted, they're resentful, and they're carrying the weight of everything. Meanwhile, the child partner feels like they can't do anything right. They feel micromanaged, incompetent, and constantly nagged. And you can see how that just kills attraction, it kills respect. You're not on the same team anymore.
Yeah, this quote just says it all from the non-ADHD partner's side. It's this feeling of being completely alone. Like, if you let go of the steering wheel for 1 second, the whole car is going to crash. And on the flip side, for the partner with ADHD, it's just as awful. It's this crushing sense of failure, like, I try so hard, but I'm always messing up. And that feeling of shame can make you just want to give up and pull away, which, of course, only makes the dynamic worse. Okay, so seeing the pattern is step one. But how do you actually break out of it? How do you get back to being a team?
Well, that's what we're getting into next. And this is the best part, because we're talking about what you can do, the strategies that can really turn things around.
A huge piece of the puzzle can be getting professional help. But, and this is a really big but, it has to be the right kind of help. You know, traditional couples therapy can actually backfire if the therapist doesn't get the neurology of ADHD.
Absolutely. You're looking for someone who is ADHD informed, someone who isn't going to tell the ADHD partner to just try harder, but will give you both tools that are actually designed for the way your brains work.
And there are things you can start doing at home, like tonight. A big one is switching how you talk. So instead of pointing a finger and saying, "you always forget," which just starts a fight, try an I statement. I feel really hurt when our plans get forgotten.
And get specific. Clean the kitchen is way too vague for an ADHD brain. It's overwhelming. But can you load the dishwasher before our show starts? That's a clear, manageable task with a deadline. It's about taking the blame out and putting clarity in.
Ultimately, it's a team effort, right? Everyone has a job. For the partner with ADHD, that job is really owning their symptom management and getting to know their own patterns.
And for the non-ADHD partner, it's about becoming an expert on ADHD and learning to set boundaries that are supportive, not controlling. And the most important thing you do together, you take the job of manager away from a person and give it to a tool. A shared calendar, a whiteboard, whatever works. You team up against the problem, not each other.
And I love that point about strengths because it is so easy to get bogged down in all the challenges. But we have to remember, the ADHD brain brings some incredible, amazing gifts to the table. Think about it. That brain wiring that can make following a recipe a nightmare, that's the exact same wiring that makes for an explosion of creativity. People with ADHD can be amazing problem solvers because they see connections no one else does. They'll find the most brilliant outside-the-box solution to pretty much anything. Oh, for sure. And life is almost never, ever boring. That need for new and exciting things, it means your life together can be filled with adventure and spontaneity. They'll be the ones to say, "Hey, let's drive to the beach right now." And it keeps things fresh and exciting.
And yes, the emotional intensity can be a challenge, but the other side of that coin is an incredible capacity for passion. When someone with ADHD loves you, they love you with their whole being. That depth of feeling can create a level of intimacy and connection that is just off the charts. So the whole point isn't to fix the person with ADHD. It's about building a partnership that understands the challenges and celebrates the heck out of these amazing strengths.
And just remember, with over 4% of adults having this diagnosis, you are in good company. Millions of couples are on this exact same path. You are definitely not alone in this.
Which really leaves us with this final thought to take with you. What if the very things that cause the most friction, that intensity, that creative chaos, those big emotions, are actually the raw materials for your greatest connection?
So the question to ask yourselves isn't how do we get rid of the problems, it's how do we work with this amazing, unique brain to build something incredible together?
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you know when new videos on ADHD and relationships are released.
Thank you for watching, and we'll speak soon. Bye now.